Looking at live pictures coming in from the White House briefing room once again. We may lose this picture, by the way, any moment now. The White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer will be holding another off-camera briefing. Once it's finished, media outlets, including CNN, all the broadcast networks if they want, the other cable news networks, they will be able to air the audio portion only of the briefing, no video. Let's discuss this and more. We're joined by Jeff Mason. He's the White House correspondent for Reuters. He's also the president of the White House Correspondents Association. Jeff, thanks for joining us.
Sure.
So why this? You met last week, I take it, with Sean Spicer, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, as the not as the Reuters correspondent, right, but as the president of the White House Correspondents Association. What's their explanation for this shift?
Well, and in fact, the full WHCA board had a meeting with them today as well. And what we've been doing is advocating, again, for the press to have fully televised briefings on a regular basis in the press room. I think they're just thinking about their strategy on how to deal with the press. I think that they believe that sometimes there's grandstanding that occurs during those briefings, and they don't see it as being in their interest to have a briefing televised every day. What we have said to them is that not only is it important for our television colleagues and radio colleagues who need pictures and sound to tell the stories of what this administration is doing, but it's also important for the sake of transparency in the American public to be able to watch that back and forth happen on a daily basis.
It's good for the American public to see the government in action, as much transparency as possible. So their argument is if there's live coverage, if there's video live, that reporters ask tough questions, whereas if it's just audio and not live, they don't ask tough questions. Is that their argument?
Well, I don't want to represent their argument. I think they see that tough questions are going to happen regardless of whether the cameras are running or not, and I certainly made that clear. I mean, there's lots going on in this administration that require tough questions, and it's our job to pose them, whether the television cameras are running or not. I think they're just just thinking over their press strategy, and we don't see eye to eye right now on how they're doing that.
So I can understand maybe they don't want video, but audio, they say, we can air the audio, and we will today, but only after the complete briefing is over. What's the difference if the audio is live as opposed to on tape?
I don't have an answer for that. I asked the very same question today. It's not clear to me what the difference is. I'm glad that we are using audio again. There was a while in the last couple of weeks where audio was also being prohibited. So I'm pleased that we're being able to use audio again, and I'm not really sure why that can't be live.
Because it's a difference, maybe 20 minutes or half an hour, as long as the briefing goes on. We'll air the audio. By the way, the briefing has just started, so we're not allowed to show any more pictures.
Right.
We did show some sketch artists renditions.
I saw that
on Friday the other day. I thought Sean Spicer looked pretty good in those sketches. Very quickly, the briefing that's about to, the statements that are about to be made, Prime Minister Modi of India and the President in the Rose Garden, they'll make statements, but they're not going to allow reporters from the Indian news media or the American news media to ask questions. What's up with that?
Well, there are times when foreign leaders come where they make statements and don't take questions. Obviously, we would prefer that they take questions. That's something that, again,
but that's in the Oval Office, they don't take questions. I don't remember a time, and there may have been a time, that they've actually made statements in the Rose Garden and not allowed two reporters from the Indian press, the foreign press, and two reporters from the American press to ask questions.
It is certainly standard for when foreign leaders come that we have a 2-and-2, where both sides get to ask two questions, or 1-and-1 for that matter. The point is, questions should be able to be asked, and we would like for that to have happened today, too.
Jeff Mason, president of the White House Correspondents Association, White House correspondent for Reuters. We're counting on you to get this done. Thanks very much.
Working on it.